Holy Christ! Quite literally this week, because NAWA wrestling is in a church outdoors. It's the EWA, Exodus Wrestling Alliance, and it's for a fundraiser. So, and also at one point with the hard cam, the stable static camera that's behind the crowd, I think George South turns up, the Carolinas champion. I'm sure it's him putting his bag down on the chair and later on talking to someone and then going and walking in front of the camera. George? Sure it's him. Anyway, it's a great, great show again, particularly because, well, first of all, particularly because Guy tonight does that, which I thank him for. He starts off in Allentown. Last week at the Bunkhouse Stampede, the Allens, all of them, were allowed, I don't know how, folks, I don't know how, to win the Bunkhouse Stampede, all of them. So they're putting all of the champions, heavyweight, Carolinas, internet, or is it TV, and the tag team champs, on notice that they could come for any of those belts. It's a rather good wrinkle, I think. One of the things that I don't like this week is that Michael Elliott, holy Christ, has said that I might get introduced to Uncle Elmer. The belly bump that the big nasty bastard does. He's keen to have me introduced to that particular situation, and I don't want that. I'm not stepping on a plane to do that. I'll step on a plane to go and do something else, but not that. I do not want to be introduced to Uncle Elmer. And as he rightly says, I'm not that keen on it. Not that keen. Right. First match we get, and it's good this week, has to be said, is the Carolina Dreamer, and I've got my notes down here, versus Johnny Smooth. Never seen Johnny Smooth before. He is smooth. With Titan, that 7-foot Titan in the corner of Mr. Smooth. Now, this is a pretty good match, actually. Not bad at all. Michael Elliott's all on his own because Curtis Robertson, the throwback, who usually commentates with him, will be involved in a match later on. More of that in a moment. It is your main event in a moment. So, first of all, you've got a Carolina Dreamer, Pony Johnson, Carolina Dreamer, right hand, a big one, putting Johnny Smooth down. There's an armbar and a slam from Smooth for a 2 count. He gets the big man up, and I was very surprised about that. And so was Michael Elliott, actually, yes. Very surprised. And then there's a Titan choke from the outside. Bad man. Bad man. But are you going to tell him? I'm not. There's a headlock from Smooth, which is worked nicely by Pony, by the Carolina Dreamer, Double clothesline. They're both down. And then we get a neck breaker from Smooth for a 2 count. There's a leg sweep. A Russian leg sweep, if thou wants, from the Dreamer. And a roll up for a long 2 count. That surprised me. Then a clothesline for only a 1 count from Smooth. That must have upset him, surely. It comes off the top into a boot. Sells that very well. So woozy. Ooh, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if he made that noise. I wasn't there, so I couldn't hear. Then a Dreamer slam, an elbow drop for a long 2 count. And then a desperation shoulder block after receiving some offense from the Dreamer. He doesn't get it all his own way, you see. He can't follow it up, but gets that flying elbow eventually for the pin. It weren't bad. And I'll tell you what else isn't bad. Silver Fox, that arrogant heel gentleman, as your new heavyweight champion. Yeah, nice arrogant promo here. Well, it's not arrogant if you can back it up. And you know what? With Golden Gladiator's help, he can, because he beat Big Donnie with help. Now, here's Curtis Robertson, who is usually with someone else. They are the tag team champs, usually with Mike Marm. He's with the Outlaw, David Sellers. As Michael Elliott points out, this is not an AWA, this is EWA, and they can make any matches they want. Now, they don't really get on, I don't think, Robertson and the Outlaw, because if you remember rightly, Robertson and Martin were the... that's right, isn't it? It is Robertson and Martin, isn't it? They beat the Outlaws for the championship. It's a bit weird. They're facing the Moonshine Express, hence Uncle Elmer. That's BNB, the big nasty bastard. and the high-flying hillbilly, Dusty Money. The hills in the stills, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Now, it'll be interesting to see how Curtis and the Outlaw work out. You know, whether they can work together. Spoiler alert, they can. At one point, Michael says, well, he's doing very well as a bad guy. Because he has to be a bad guy, because the other two are good guys, aren't they? Interesting stuff. I like it. Now, you've got a Curtis Robertson hip toss, and he celebrates that. He really shouldn't. But then he hits a one-handed slam, which is lovely. Dusty gets the hip tosses in there and the arm drags with slams for both of them. Yeah, Curtis clotheslines Sellers by mistake. Sellers does not walk off or get angry. He just battens it down and continues to work. Money bites Curtis's way. He doesn't really bite Curtis's fingers. He ain't got any teeth, so he gives him a good sucking. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Makes them all wet. It's horrible. I bet that's horrible. Then you've got a B&B hammerlock. Curtis gets a fist, smacks him one. There's a B&B shoulder block, and he does that dance. He's no James Brown, but he does them. On the one. B&B. Anyway, Sellers gets his shoulder in the corner to Dusty Money. Sells an arm wringer, which is very nice. Runs into a boot twice, a B&B boot. Then he suffers a clothesline. Curtis has to break it up. Uncle Elmer then comes out. I don't want to meet him. I simply don't want to meet him, Michael Elliott. Holy Christ, I don't want to meet him. Now, B&B gets some shots, and then that Dusty elbow that he does, which is very nice. Nice short bulldog from Dusty Money. Yeah, Dusty Rhodes elbow, not Dusty Money elbow. Yeah, that Dusty Bulldog was nice, actually. And then Curtis, he gives us a top wrist lock. I like that. Works on the arm very nicely. There's a Sellers splash for a 2 count. He works the arm as well, gets a head crank. Michael Elliott then wants someone to sit down who's in the crowd. You didn't say that to George South, Michael. And there's a lovely Dusty Money missile dropkick and a B&B lariat for the pin. Curtis and David Sellers work well together. Surprising that. Interesting as well. But the Moonshine Express, they really do work well because they're in the hills, both of them, and they talk regularly. And they probably have a file of facts with each other's names and addresses and numbers in there. And they share that moonshine, don't they? Allegedly. And I want to share with everyone just how good NAWA has become, because it's blooming marvellous. Keep it going, fellas, and I'll keep watching. Ta-ta.